is former Vice President and potential 2024 candidate Mike Pence.
We're getting Pencey here?
This is very Pencey.
We're in the Pencey zone, everybody.
Yeah, so it's sort of different. It's a different kind of attack situation.
Sort of a Pencey type of attack.
It's Pencey.
Not a pincer, a Pencey.
Right.
Okay.
So here he is,
I'm ready.
Mike Pence, weighing in on Republicans' underperformance in the 2022 elections and his thoughts on 2024.
Our candidates that were focused on the past, particularly on relitigating the last election, did not do well, including in areas that we should have done very well.
Did you say we need someone else in 2024? You're on record saying that.
I've said I think we're going to have better choices. I really do.
Than former President Trump.
I think we're going to have better choices.
You know, I never really understood, Willie, in Harry Potter, why they could never say Voldemort's name, you know? But Harry did, right? Harry did. I mean, and it made all the difference.
Right.
And Dumbledore, you know, called him Tom. You shouldn't have come tonight, Tom. Like they said his name.
Well, do you know what
and
he's
good
talking
things
about?
happened to Harry.
Okay.
Right? Right? And I think it kind of intimidated Voldemort. And when he said, you shouldn't have come here tonight, Tom, it kind of freaked him out. Listen, everybody knows what I'm talking about here.
No, I don't think they do.
I got 87 kids. I've seen every Harry Potter 434 times. And I think there are a lot of people out there like me. But anyway, you notice it was the name that could not be said. Trump is the Voldemort of the Republican Party. Mike Pence won't say his name. Nikki Haley won't say his name. Pompeo won't say his name.
Say my name.
Nobody will say Voldemort's name. It's very
And
Pence.
you've got to be. They're talking about another character in the book, but they've got to get past Voldemort before they can get to that next character. They're talking about Joe Biden a lot, which you understand, of course, but we got a primary before we've got a general election. And by the way, Joe, Harry Potter was the hero of the story, the one who said Voldemort's name. They named the book after him, for heaven's sakes. He's got rides in Orlando, the whole thing. He's the guy. He's the guy. Pence also criticized, Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis over Florida's bill that revoked Disney of its special tax status.
I have concerns about the follow-on. Look, Disney stepped into the fray. They lost.
But
the idea of going after their taxing authority, that was beyond the scope of what I, as a conservative, limited government Republican, would be prepared to do.
You remember DeSantis signed legislation that took away Disney's decades-old special tax district status after Disney executives spoke out against Florida's law that limits the discussion of sexual orientation or gender identity in schools. So kind of a criticism. You see the outlines of a guy who wants to run for president and kind of feeling the borders of who he can go after and who he can't.
It's just a little Pencey.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't go after DeSantis.
Just
kind of tap. Yeah. Just tap. But the thing is, the thing is, by the way, if you want to go to the Harry Potter world, if after that Universal in Orlando, you can't do that. Disney doesn't have any of the Harry Potter stuff, kids. You got to go to Universal.
Joe, I was there last weekend with my family. The Harry Potter world at Universal. Oh my gosh, the new Hagrid ride. They're building more Harry Potter stuff. It's incredible. But I digress. Go ahead.
It's great. We digress, Jeff Shell. We digress. But yes, it's wonderful. But the thing is, though, we've said this before, Gene Robinson, that if you're a governor and you attack large corporations because you don't like their politics, you attack small businesses because you don't like their politics, and you tell them that they cannot keep their premises safe based on how they, as private business owners, want to keep it safe. If you're stepping in and putting the boot of big government down on cruise lines that are desperate to restart cruises in the middle of COVID, but they want to take some precautions, and yet you have a centralized state actor like Ron DeSantis going, no, Disney, you can't do this. Cruise lines, you can't do that. Small businesses, you can't do that. School boards, you can't do this. There is nothing conservative. Based on the definition that Mike Pence and I grew up with in the pre-Trump era, there is nothing conservative about that. That is big government with a B and a G.
Yeah, it's certainly not conservative. And, you know, this jackbooted approach that DeSantis takes, this humorless, I'm a tough guy, I'll go after you approach, you know, it worked in Florida, got him a big re-election victory. I am still very skeptical that this works across the country the way he thinks it does. And I think, you know, as more people get to know him and as he's around for a while, I think, you know, the longer that goes on, the worse it is for DeSantis, in my opinion. But that was the pensiest of attacks I've ever heard. Yeah. But it was an attack, and so we'll see how that develops. We'll see if others go after him for this decidedly un-Republican, unconservative move he's taken against Disney, against Mickey Mouse. Right. Incredible.
Yeah, attacking Mickey Mouse, attacking the Tampa Bay Rays because and taking away something that the legislature wanted to pass, a tax benefit, because they tweeted out their sympathies to young children who had just been slaughtered in Uvalde schools. All of these acts, maybe they play well in Tallahassee. They're really small ball, and we'll see how they work on the national stage. Yeah, he won huge in Florida. He won huge in Florida in part, Sam, because the Democratic Party never showed up, never gave Charlie Crist any support, never gave him a chance to keep it close, and then everybody got wiped out. So again, I'm curious, what do you think about whether DeSantis' act of attacking Mickey Mouse, attacking baseball teams, whether he can take that nationwide?
I'm maybe a little bit more bullish, I think, than Eugene. Not nationwide necessarily, but I do think it might play in a Republican primary. You know, it is, for lack of, you know, if we're just speaking crudely about it, it's sort of a Trumpy type of attack or playbook that he's operating. Use the power of the state to achieve your political ends. You know, he got cheered wildly by conservatives for going after Disney, for going after the Rays. They've longed for conservatives to use state power to do just that, and so he did it. And I think it's made him. I think it's made him a kind of a cult hero figure on the right. I think the question is, and this brings it back to Pence, you know, ultimately someone's got to take on Trump, right? Someone's got to go after him by name. And it's early, and I get it. Ron DeSantis has not even announced that he's going to run for president yet. But so far, from Pence to Nikki Haley to others who have shown that they're going to jump into this race, no one is willing to go after Trump. And what it seems like to me is that we're going to have just a reenactment of what happened in 2016, which is everyone's going to try to be the last one standing against Trump. They'll go after DeSantis, and then Trump might just, you know, by virtue of that, end up coasting to the nomination.
You know, Willie, though, it is so crazy when you look at what Republicans have been willing to do to sell out every value that they've ever believed in. I was having a conversation a couple of days ago with some friends who grew up in the church like me, and every one of them had the same experience with evangelicals that were still hardcore Trump supporters. And one was saying, I was talking to him, and I said, and the person said, I said, you know, you go through what he does every day, and he listed it, talked about the vanity, the lying, the self-serving. He said every one of those things are the antithesis of what Jesus Christ did and what Jesus Christ taught. And like I said, you look at every single one of the Beatitudes. Trump, where Jesus says these are those who are. Trump does the opposite of it. And the answer was, and the answer that I always hear is, well, yes, that's true. He doesn't do anything that Jesus said he should do, but maybe it takes that type of person to get what we need done. Well, that's the irony about like small business conservatives. These people that I grew up around who were supposed to be small business conservatives, They want leaders that use the power of the state. They want strongmen. They want authoritarians. Like, how ironic is it that my party that I came to Congress with in 1994, we were all supposed to be for small government. Now they have morphed, they have devolved into what they hated. They want big government. They want strongmen. They want authoritarians to use the power of big government to tell local school districts what to do, to tell small businesses what to do, to tell cruise lines what to do, to tell Disney World what to do, to tell the Tampa Bay Rays what to do. And they think that's cool because it shows strength. No, Pencey was right. That's the opposite of being concerned. Now, if you want to vote for an authoritarian and you love big government, that's fine. Just don't call yourself a conservative, because you're not.
Yeah, I mean, to your first point about evangelicals, the line we both heard for many years when we'd confront them with that about Donald Trump was, well, we're electing a president, not a saint. What are you going to do? And in their eyes, that was borne out. They got 3 Supreme Court justices and Roe versus Wade overturned. So it was about power, not about whether he behaved like Jesus. And to your other point about small business, you're right. I mean, you have governors now reaching in, not just into businesses, but to elementary school libraries, like going all the way down the chain that far and saying that book about Hank Aaron or that book about Roberto Clemente, which mentions racism, we don't want our kids to see that.